What exactly happens in the peer review process? Hi, I'm Dr. Sarah Margolin, and I have a PhD in cognitive and sensory processes. I've been running my own human subjects research lab and teaching classes on research methods for almost 2 decades. Welcome to my series In Plain Science, where I pull back the curtain on all things science. In this episode, we're going to talk about peer review. Peer review is the standard by which we check each other's scientific research and make sure that it is of the highest standard. These reviewers are chosen from the area of expertise that paper pertains to. So for me, that might mean that experts in cognition, reading comprehension, and gerontology are going to be consulted. And they're going to get a copy of my paper that is blinded, that does not have my name on it. They do not know who wrote this paper or who conducted this research. And they're going to go through it line by line, step by step. They're going to first look at the background research and literature and make sure that we've consulted all of the previous research and we've logically deduced what our research question should be. That we've used methodology that makes sense to answer that research question. That we've collected data in an ethical, responsible way. That we've analyzed that data in a way that makes sense for both the research question and the data that we have. And then they're going to look at the conclusions that we drew and make sure that they make sense from the data that we collected, the analysis that we did, and within the constraints of the experimental manipulation or context that we have. Once that's done, they're going to send their recommendation back to the editor of the journal and tell them what they recommend should happen from here. And there are a few options. That paper can be accepted without revisions. This virtually never happens. It can be accepted with revisions. It can be asked to revise and resubmit for another round of review. Or it can be rejected fully as not good for this journal. And typically, they're going to send it out to at least 2, but usually 3 or 4 reviewers to look and make these recommendations. Most commonly, papers will be rejected. Most journals do not accept very many submissions. In fact, they range from maybe a 80% rejection rate to a 95 or a 98% rejection rate. So we're not just publishing things willy-nilly as they're submitted. We also are not paying these reviewers to do this work. They're doing it because this is the procedure and how we check to make sure we have good science that's getting out into the published literature. And so when you hear claims that scientific journals or peer review is corrupt and companies are paying or buying out or bribing reviewers or editors to publish things, that's just not true. It does not happen and it cannot happen because of this peer review process. It is very stringent. It is not a monetary gain to get any of this. Now, in some cases, the author, the scientist may pay a little bit of money to allow for open access to the public, and or if they want some images that are color print and not black and white print. But that really only happens after it's been accepted for publication. I hope this was helpful and opened up a little bit of clarity in the peer review process. Please make sure you follow along for another episode of In Plain Science.